Greetings to the answer on how to save the planet and us at the same time. Also, it is the channeling session for the month of August channeled through Mark Rocker. I am Russ Hatfield, and the lovely lady over my shoulder is my twin soul, Karra, a higher dimensional member of Ashtar Command. This special channeling session for the month of August starts with a scene that needs describing. It takes place at a small lake on the outskirts of the Lake Tahoe Basin in 1995. Mark and I were trying an experiment planned by Omal where we would use a camping trip Mark and I were on to give an astronomy lesson to the two of us. With a pair of tents nearby, 2 air mattresses were set up in front of a campfire we had built. Mark astral projected himself up to the base, and Tia takes his place in his body. A portable tape recorder that slows down occasionally without warning starts, and the channeling begins. Due to the wind that would blow through at times, and it being a portable tape deck, the sound is not as ideal as we would wish, but the information is, as always, the principal focus of these sessions. T would not stay long as to let Karra take over as ring mistress and the first speaker of the night. As speaker, she would ask questions that laid out a typical healing session using crystals. Omal follows Karra, which is when we get his definitive class in astronomy while in an actual outdoor setting with a night sky overhead. Also overhead is Wing Commander Taal, who provided a prearranged UFO sighting. Korton comes on to finish up Side 1 and pretty much all of Side 2 as the last channeled speaker, but he is a hard act to follow. Especially this time, as he explains that our allies in the battle for survival on an overheating planet are the elementals and nature spirits. The answer, he says, is a balance between technology and nature, and no one knows more about nature than those beings responsible for it to work in the way it does. Finally, to cap things off, the listeners get to hear the longest exchange of Mark speaking in his natural voice we ever got on tape as we leave the recorder running after he's back. For a full transcript of this channeling session, please go to our main homepage at HadesBaseNews.com. We invite you to subscribe to be kept informed of future postings on our YouTube channel from the members of Ashtar Command. And now, for the month of August, we present the channeled messages of Ashtar Command with Camping and the Answer to Everything.
Hello.
Greetings. Yes.
Greetings. Sure. Karra. Tia. Hi, Tia.
Hey, dude.
Hey, good.
I had to just drop in and say hi.
Oh, hi. Welcome to the camping trip.
Ooh, fun.
Well, yeah, this is real outdoorsy stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there's trees, there's water, there's a fire.
Yeah, that's camping.
Mm-hmm.
Intense. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Fine.
Good. How's the little kiddos?
Ah, the kittens. Yeah, well, they're behaving like a set of kitty litter.
Kind of just sitting there, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
What's happening around here? Huh? What do you want to know?
You want to know? Oh, I just want to know how everything's going. If your pregnancy is progressing as planned.
Okay.
Right. So, we're all set for the party coming up?
Oh, yeah.
Good job.
What's this?
Glasses.
Ooh.
So Mark can see. Actually, so Omal can see.
Oh, Among these glasses, huh?
You know, he needs to see through Mark's eyes, so yeah, he needs glasses.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the party. And Alex is manifesting like crazy.
Alright.
Well, not like crazy, but he's manifesting, maybe once a day, once every other day.
Oh, that's pretty good. What's his latest accomplishment?
A bottle of milk. Don't ask me why.
Saves you guys a bunch of trouble.
Well, it's just an illusion.
Oh. It's like, I want milk.
Yeah, I want to be fair.
Mm.
So, what's going on?
Well, we're going to be finding out some star information tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, please, up here giggling like crazy.
She's looking forward to coming in.
Yeah, she is. She's nodding like crazy. Oh, she's excited. Babbling away their native tongue. I don't understand a word of it.
My baby?
Yep, they're both babbling away in their native tongue.
I don't understand a word of it either. So, no problem.
How about?
What? Not much really.
No questions on first sighting?
No.
Oh dear. Oh well, I suppose I better go off and sort out a few people.
He's waiting for you patiently, I think.
Yes, he is.
Let's get to it. That way you guys can start your night off. Right?
Okay.
Have fun. Thank you for stopping and saying hi to you.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Greetings.
Greetings. Omal?
Yeah.
Hey, darling.
So, what's happening?
Well, we're trying to figure out campfire songs to sing at the campfire. And we assume you've been camping before.
Possibly.
So we figured doing that camping and stuff. So
Ooh, yes, I suppose.
around fires and stuff.
I suppose you could call that camping.
Well, that's about all we could figure it out for.
Yeah, digging a hole in the ground and living in it for a couple of days.
It's a lot of
Oh, it was horrible. I got trench foot and
yeah.
constantly wet and cold and miserable and frightened and... Well, never mind.
Right. I don't know, you're wondering where you and Kiri are, what Syrians are descended from. They ain't apes. I said dolphins, eh?
Fish.
Fish. Not dolphins.
Fish.
It's fish and mammals.
Right, everything is descended from fish, even you're descended from fish.
Yeah, that's true. I suppose apes came along a bit later. Well, that's good. Glasses?
Yeah.
That's a Mark can see.
Ah.
So if you're able to open his eyes up, you'll be able to see.
Can't do it as well as Kiri can. Never mind.
Oh well. So, that was fun this afternoon.
Yeah, it was.
Now, were we trying to figure out how to fly that plane?
So I'm going to keep on trying to figure out how to fly it, and then I'm going to press your pants off.
Oh, you already did, so that wouldn't be very tough at all.
Oh, okay.
Like a little campsite here.
Well, it's fine. It's really big.
Got lakes on both sides.
Mm-hmm. You could do with some reclining couches and a table and a colour TV. And...
We're roughing it. See? This is like how the frontier people used to have to do it. Subsisting on very little.
How does the song go? Home, home on the range, where the deer and the antelope live, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy and bare. Home, home on the range.
Alrighty. As you might have noticed, Mark's stopping smoking here.
Mm-hmm.
At least the time period we're on this trip. So it'll be a bit cleaner on his lungs.
Well, that's good.
Agreed.
We will try to help to keep him from starting that disgusting, yucky, horrible habit back.
Alrighty. And I'll help whatever way I can, of course.
Okay.
Oh, what do you got for me, love?
Now, let's talk about healing,
Alright.
okay, and focusing.
Perfect.
Okay. Now then, I'm going to ask you some questions.
Alright.
How do you find focus on a particular damaged area?
You go into the area and go down to a molecular level and try to find exactly where it starts in the area which is affected.
And how would you heal an area infected?
You channel mass amounts of human energy into that area until the discoloration of the area cleared up.
Explain in more detail what you mean.
Well, in other words, you'd see the area as being a different vibration from the areas around it. And so what you're attempting to do is mesh the vibrations with the injured area with the areas around it so they all become one vibration.
Do you use any aids?
The crystal.
That's what I was looking for.
Well, you'd use that to align the energies so that the vibrations are all the same, right?
And what is one of the effects of using a crystal?
Well, it is that it basically channels energy from yourself into the area you need to get the energy from. And then once the energy is put in, the surgical part of the crystal, the fine part of it, basically focuses that energy into a very tight field.
Okay, now supposing you're dealing with an area damaged, a large area that is damaged.
Like a knee or something?
Yeah, that's a good example.
Okay. Basically, you'd start off with a fine focus, find out what it is that's hurting and what it is that's damaged. And if either you can or cannot find that area, you then apply the energy in through the crystal, because the energy coming through the crystal will heal it, no matter whether you know what part you're feeling or not. Right?
Pretty close enough to start off with.
Right. And then as you get more experienced at it, you'll be able to spot the injured area each time without having to guess it.
Okay. Got any questions for me?
Yeah, these like that.
Okay.
Once you start putting energy into the crystal, how do you know when to stop?
It depends on what type of crystal you're using.
Let's take the surgical scalpel.
Okay, the surgical scalpel can take a considerable quantity of energy.
Right. But how do you know when to stop putting the energy through?
When you've finished doing the job that you have set out to do.
Okay.
Simple as that.
So in other words, when you're working on getting the vibrations back in order, it's basically intuitively knowing when those vibrations are back aligned, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, when I was working on Erica, the one time I did with just my hands, basically, I just put the energy in, and it kind of felt like it was being sucked out of me until enough had been sucked out that the area felt like it would have been fixed. And it was channeling the energy through me. I wasn't using my own. And then once it felt like it, kind of like a car.
Yeah.
Pull up to the gas station, you start filling it with gas, and when the thing's full, it shuts off.
That's
It
right.
shuts itself off. Now, another question I got on fine focusing is how do you tell, let's say you've got an injured muscle up above and an injured something down below it, but all you can see is the muscle above. We're working on the crystal fix both of them anyway?
It's always best to start on the deeper area first when you check an area out. It's always advisable to go further.
Okay, and then work your way back up to the surface?
Yeah. For example, let's say you strained your stomach, right? And by scanning and probing, you went deeper and found that you had an ulcer in your stomach, or your person that you're working on had an ulcer.
Right.
You would work on the ulcer and then you come back to the area that is strained.
I see. Now, how would you work on something so like a hernia?
Very careful.
Okay. Would we better leave that to the experts?
Yeah. People like me or your medical doctors can do a sufficient job.
It takes operation.
Yeah. Anything that involves an operation, it's always best to either bring up to here if you can, or send it to one of your medical doctors.
Okay. Are you being room mistress this evening, or just...
Yeah, basically.
Basically?
Yeah, because the other night when I was room mistress, couldn't go all the way, could I? I had to go and change the dirty diaper. Oh well.
Oh well.
Okay.
That's all I have for now.
Alright. Now who should I hand over to?
So that's your choice.
It is indeed. Okay, I'll tell you what. We're going to hand over to Kiri, and then she'll probably hand directly over to Omal. She's going to check things out first. So I'll see you.
See you.
Bye.
Kiri. Welcome to the great outdoors. Eyes are working properly.
Well, I'm having a little bit difficulty, but focus is a lot better.
Glasses are
Is it meant to be this bright at night?
no, the moon's out.
Ah.
If the moon was down, it'd be a lot less light. No, it's kind of like a little night light we've got for us. At least you get a good star scene above us.
Okay, I'll be back in a little while.
Right.
I'll be back. Greetings and felicitations, Russ.
Greetings, Korton.
No.
Omal.
Got ya, sucker. Okay.
Right.
Kiri told me it's still a little bit bright, but we will do the best that we can.
Alright, yeah, we have a moon up tonight.
Yes. Okay. Right, this is where it starts to get fun.
Okay, good.
Okay. She wasn't joking when she said that it was bright.
Is that Mars over next to the moon?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's what I
Okay. Right. This is going to be fun. Over there, if you look approximately east, you see a W in the night sky?
I see the 3 stars in a row there.
Okay. Tell you what, let's make it a little easier here.
There we go.
That's much, much better. Okay. If you look up there,
Right.
see a faintish star. That one there, another star. You see a W in the sky?
Yeah, right. That's it.
That's Cassiopeia.
Oh.
This time of year it is normally in the northeast. Northeast.
Yeah, that'd be about right.
That flashing light over there is a 747. So it's that one.
Ah.
Actually, I do not know what aircraft they are.
And then this is the Big Dipper above us here.
Yes, and the correct name for the Big Dipper is
Don't tell me. Ursa Major.
correct. Right now, following from Ursa Major's pointer stars, you see just behind the tree here a bright star.
Right.
That is Polaris.
Oh, really? That one right there?
Yes.
Stood ahead? Oh.
Through there. That is Jupiter.
Oh, right there? The big bright thing? Oh, it's gorgeous.
Okay.
Now, what's that over there by the, just over the hilltop there?
Just rising?
Yeah, 2 stars right next to each other.
Parallel.
One's brighter than the other.
That could be Castor and Pollux, but the angle is correct. But there is much light from
Oh, the moon.
the moon.
I see 3 stars. Or 4 stars right there. 3 bright, 1 kind of form like a little box shape.
Right ahead. 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, and the 4th one just behind there.
No, these 3 are right up here, right in a very short, tight groupie.
If you look directly up, you will be able to see, going behind the tree, Taal.
Tall? What, that moving thing right there? Nah,
It will disappear shortly.
it's going fast.
But cool.
I'll be damned.
Those 4
Yeah, those 4.
Those 4 are part of Aquarius.
Oh, let's see.
Directly ahead through the trees, you will see a offset box. 1 low.
Oh, yeah, okay, I got it.
Okay, that is the square of a Pegasus.
Oh, really? Now these are all
Just checking.
These are all in the same position all the time.
No. They vary throughout the year in the rotation of your planet.
But in relations to each other,
Yes.
they're always the same. I see.
Incorrect. That is not. That could
Is that
be
the Little Dipper?
the Little Dipper
Ursa
is
Minor?
over there,
Oh,
hidden by tree. Okay, let us find. Okay, just coming up, or should be coming up, not yet too early, is Saturn will come from up there and curve. Does not rise high into the sky.
Oh. What's that bright one right there?
The red one,
Yeah.
that is the Eye of Taurus.
Oh.
Unfortunately, Orion is too low on the horizon to see, but should be there. But because of the light from the moon,
Oh, you can't really see it that good.
no.
Oh, so if the moon was down, we'd see a lot more.
Yes, and later at night.
Oh. I'll check them out if the moon sets tonight.
We will program some information.
Okay, great.
This nice planet you have.
Thank you.
Nice place to camp.
Yeah, we're going to try to do this more often.
Maybe one day I shall camp.
Oh, well, we look forward to it. Go sit around and toast marshmallows and sing campfire songs.
Explain.
Marshmallows, little sugary puffs of of cream that we cook over the fire there on sticks. Okay, I'll throw some more wood in the fire here. Yeah, we'll get a bit more warmth here for him.
Are those three the W?
Yes.
Cassiopeia.
Up there.
The North Star. Polaris.
Okay. Little higher. Directly above. 1, 2, 3, 4.
The Ursa Major?
Wrong.
Oh, that's more farther over that way.
Yes.
That is. Oh, dang. It's not Orion because Orion hasn't come up.
No. Orion is over there.
Right. Boy.
It's a minor.
Oh.
Okay. Good for a while. We'll be back possibly.
Alright. Thank you, Omal.
You are welcome.
Hi, Kiri. Should start warming up nicely here. Look at you, man.
What can we do for you?
Oh. Well, are we all set for the party?
Yeah, everything's here.
Everything's there. Alright. Good to hear it. Well, we're learning how to be stars this evening.
And what have you learned?
Various constellations and saw tall.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, real good.
Having fun. Ooh, what's this?
Here
Marty, dude! Can't tip over that way.
Good job.
Yes. What do you wish to know?
Well, I've heard Alec is manifesting mass amounts of things now.
Yeah.
Has anything come solid yet?
No, not really. It's just illusions, mainly.
So how far do you think he's got to go?
Oh, long way.
Long
Long
way.
way.
Now, is he getting training from Omal yet?
Omal spends a little bit of time tickling him with feathers.
So not really a training regimen just yet. Oh, that's fair. Now, for wisdom, in working on it, sometimes I get good results and sometimes I don't, but I'm using the same amount of focus for each time. But it doesn't seem to be consistent. How do I look at getting consistency down?
Okay. By repeating the exact same things over and over again. Persevere, repeating the exact same scenarios time after time until you get a good consistent pattern. You need to practice many things before you can come up with what is a good consistency.
Okay. So in other words, it's trial and error, but it's basically every time that you get the trial right, not the error, you keep practicing that trial part.
Okay, that's what you do. So, next question.
Okay, what are we all wearing for this party? Anything we want?
Yeah, come as you wish.
It's not your birthday.
No, it's not his birthday either.
Oh.
It's a manifestation party. So manifest something. Come as you want.
Well, I'm just thinking what Alex might like.
He's not going to remember it, is he?
I don't know, at the moment he will.
Well, he may sleep through it.
Sleep through it. Nah, it's a party.
Nasriel slept through his. Yeah?
Well, that's the privilege of having a party you're on. You can sleep through it if you want.
That's right. So, if you want to come wearing absolutely nothing, do so. Me? I'm going to wear
Alright.
a pair of short, white miniskirt with a white bottom shirt with a black belt that is made of metal.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah. And what else shall I wear? White panties. Bra? Maybe not. Okay, that will do.
Alright.
Okay.
That's all I got, love.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay. I'm out of here. I've got people to see, things to do, things to get screened out and sorted out. I do.
Bye, love.
I'm out of here.
Well, being told that's the fastest she moved all day.
Oh. Well, she's pretty exhausted.
Not as much as you would think.
Yeah, that's true. She should get her energy back real quickly.
Yes, she is heading to her apartment to rest briefly, put the tea on, and the rest, as you say, is yet to be.
Huh? Sounds like fun.
Yes.
And I'll be coming to see you in a while.
Ooh.
Now that I can see Mars from here.
Navigation light.
Yeah, it's pretty bright. Won't be hard to hit at all.
Which will get
dimmer when your moon sets. So I'm told. Omal is sitting here patiently helping.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. Right, I shall continue my duties
Alrighty.
and hand over to the next person.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you, darling. I'll see you with you.
You're welcome. Greetings and felicitations, Russ.
Greetings, Korton.
And how are you functioning?
Ah, wonderful. Fresh air, fresh everything around here.
Yes, it seems Kiri didn't quite tidy up her experiment properly.
Oh, the legs are still a bit cramped.
We shall remedy that.
Right.
Okay,
Excellent.
that is better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, question and answer.
Okay. Now then, I want to go back a little bit in history to a point where there was no such thing as galaxies. This would be
Okay,
at the Big Bang
I think your mattress has a hole.
It does. I'll have to fix it sometime to get back home.
Okay,
Alright. All of a sudden there is a huge explosion
yes.
in which stars and galaxies expand outward and fill up available space.
Yes.
Now, here on this little molten planet that we call Earth, basically it's finally starting to cool off and become a viable place. Now, how does the first single cell animal, let's say, start off? I've heard various theories, but none of them can really accurately explain, well, how did that first bit of life start?
For life to start on a planet, there has to be many different factors that all come into play at the same time. The first factor is temperature. It has to be correct for certain chemicals to come into alignment. There has to be certain amount of moisture.
Tis no good having a hot enough temperature, but no moisture.
To be a certain amount of gas in your atmosphere, the correct sort of gas. These are just a few things that are needed to be all in the exact correct pattern for life to start forming.
No, so this doesn't happen for every planet,
No,
just because all those factors don't come together.
correct.
Okay. But for people to think that life on other planets could not exist would be a bit immature.
Exactly.
Obviously, we know different, but it would seem like all those factors could not happen on just one planet out of all the billions that there are.
Correct. The chances of life happening on your planet is approximately 1,000,000 to 1. But that is not such a high factor when you think how many stars there are in your galaxy. And then you narrow it down to how many would be able to create life. But there is an important phrase to remember. Life as you know it.
Right. So various planets would be completely different
Correct.
in all factors. So the same factors here that make life possible would be totally fatal to some other place where the life would need to be started off at.
A different form.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. So that's why with Hades Base, there's so many different kinds of people up there.
Correct. We have our interstellar department. We have our navigational departments. We have the technicians. We have pilots, but all of different species and skin color. We have the Syrians, the Tolarians, the Tanaxians, all different.
But how is it everybody got together to work together? I mean, it would seem like most of these races would not get to even know each other, much less work together as one unit.
Correct. That is, these individuals are enlightened individuals. If you take a planet with a population of approximately 2 billion, which is the approximate population of your planet, correct? That is correct?
More or less. About 4 billion.
4 billion. Okay. And you think how many people are on Hades base? Now, if you divide that by the number of different species, or different planets of origin, you come up with less than 0.00001% of a planet. Now, if you spread that throughout all the various commands, it is less than 3 zeros and a 1.
Now, would this mean then that some of those people who are on Hades base come from stars like ours, whereby a majority of the people are not highly evolved, but then a
Yes.
minority are?
Yes.
And that minority then would become part of Ashtar Command.
Ashtar Command or one of the other commands.
The other commands. And so do they ever go back to try to work with their own planets?
Some do.
Kind of like a guide factor, I guess it is.
Yes. Some will be artificially inseminated into a woman to help evolve the species with pre-programmed knowledge that will be activated at particular times in an individual's life.
This sounds very familiar.
So,
Like, for example, take, our Messiah, Christ.
yes.
Now, theoretically, that could have been an enlightened being who was then artificially inseminated into one Mary.
You cannot confirm or deny that.
Alright, it's open for theory, I guess.
It's open for discussion, most certainly.
Oh. So, in other words, theoretically, there are all planets like that could have their Christ and such.
Correct.
Oh, I see. How would a person choose to do such a thing? I mean, that would be take a major commitment.
It would only take a certain amount of their allotted time.
I see. Okay. I will put up interesting thoughts. Alright, my next question is on we were discussing last week elementals and nature spirits.
Okay.
Alright. I want to dwell on that a little bit more this week by wondering questions on the wind
Yes.
and whether if there would be, you might say, sentient forces that guide that.
Sensitive in a way that you would not understand.
Right. But sentient in the way that it would work with all other entities to create the balance needed.
On that level of existence.
Right. For example, trees need wind to spread their pollen.
Yes.
And then the wind comes along, pollen gets off, and procreates other trees.
Correct.
It would seem like there's a kind of a conscious agreement that's reached, theoretically.
Theoretically, yes. It is a complicated issue without getting into a theological discussion on another name for spirits is karma.
Oh, okay.
To use
Is karma?
a Japanese expression.
Right. Yeah, I know karma. I never quite thought of spirits being.
The religion of Shintoism,
Right.
the term for spirit is karma.
Oh.
To
No.
them, everything has karma.
Right. But in our dealings with karma, it's that that which you do comes back later.
To a certain extent, yes.
Now, how would that associate with spirits?
That some spirits are people spirits that take on forms, and they are paying the price of their misdeeds, or they wish to continue helping people.
So it'd be almost another word for soul.
Correct.
So in essence, we're nature spirits.
Correct. But the Japanese term, which is actually more correct than most terms, for their spiritualism, is that everything has a spirit. This tree we are propped against, although it is not functioning, it still has a spirit. That fire has a spirit.
Right.
The living tree, the water, the entities in the water, everything.
Us as a people have our place within that, but we've forgotten our place.
Correct.
And so what we're attempting to do now is reinstate that proper place in which the human race belongs.
Correct. There is a proper place with your natural technological developments, which are necessary, but there is a correct place for them too, in the balance of everything.
I see. So currently the balance, while not exactly off, isn't on either.
Correct. It is rocking badly.
Right. Now, it would be said then that rocking badly is perfection.
No. Perfection is where there is no rocking in the balance of nature and technology. When both balance, then everything runs correctly. At the moment, it is not balancing, as it were.
Right. But the human race is such not only ignorant of these other spirits, but they're totally callous about their use of the earth.
Time will tell what happens. Whether or not your species is to go on in the form that it is, or a selected few will go on and keep your species going elsewhere.
Right.
That is not decided.
Now, to reach that balance between technology and nature, it would be necessary then to continue that same pattern we were discussing last week with contacting nature spirits and working in unison with them.
Correct.
Now, by working in unison with them, we're able then to enlist possibly their aid in correcting those imbalances, or would it be that they would not bother until the rest of man's come around to get it right?
Elementals, although very distrustful of the human race as a whole, if individuals persist in trying to contact them and doing what the elementals wish, then they will be cooperated with those individuals.
Okay. I see. So in other words, it's opening up those lines of communications.
Correct.
Okay. Now, earlier today I was working on that same project down by the water.
Yes.
I'm trying to work with those nature spirits that dwell in that body of water, due to the fact that that's what I'm closest associated to. I could get a sort of almost laughter with a bit of curiousness involved.
It is laughter because they perceive you at present as the fool.
Every right to.
Yes, you are a human after all.
Absolutely.
You were trying to catch lunch, dinner. You laugh now?
Right.
You understand why they laugh.
Yeah. It's probably looking pretty funny to
Yes.
them. I don't blame them. Now, how do I get it to where they take us seriously? Well, that might be a bit tough.
Just broadcast friendship.
Alright. Now, what I did this evening, as per Karra's suggestion, was place the big energy crystal there right over on the wood by us here,
Yes.
and invited those nature spirits who wish to come and join in what we're doing tonight.
Listen and learn.
Right.
Because although elementals may be extremely long in their existence,
Right.
they too can still learn from things.
Really?
And by pulling them in to this circle, if you listen, and listen carefully, open your mind,
I get a welcoming.
you get them all around you. Tonight you will be safe here.
Yes, I noticed Saturday we were up here in the daytime. Not myself and Mark, but myself and the classmen. And we got scarfed by the bugs.
But yet there are no bugs.
We haven't been eaten once, and we're not very far from where we got scarfed on Saturday.
But listen, what do you hear? Tell me what you hear.
Wind.
Why is the wind blowing?
Greetings.
Close. Let me put it another way. How well is the wind blowing?
Kind of all around, but not right on us.
And fairly strong, correct?
Yeah.
So it makes it impossible for the bugs to fly and hover in the same area.
Oh. So that's part of the balance.
Yes. And part of the protection. Now it is your turn to do a favour in return the elementals. When you leave this area, you pick up all of your trash, but leave a little gift for them. Maybe a little bit of food for the animals to feed on,
Okay.
but not your flowery yeast-based substance.
I mean, bread.
Correct, not bread.
We have some trail mix, nuts and raisins and stuff.
Yes, that would be useful.
Alright.
Put it in a little pile in an area away from everywhere else as a thank you for the creatures of the forest that have been forced to be away from this area.
Ah, I see.
By them being away from this area, it means that they cannot scavenge and search in the area that they would normally search in for their food.
Oh. So leaving them food will save them a bunch of trouble.
Correct, and it will be a thank you.
Ah.
The animals themselves will not understand, but the guardians of those animals, the elementals, and the spirits that travel around, will understand.
I see. So we're working through the representatives, you could say.
Correct.
Hmm.
Because they do not need food, but they are here to make sure that the animals do what they're supposed to do.
Okay. Now, I would assume then that the reason why all of a sudden I'm finding my studies directed towards elementals and nature spirits is that the timing has become correct for that.
Correct.
Okay. In that case, try to maintain then a constant communication.
When you have the opportunity to. You cannot constantly be open to elementals. When you're in your workplace, you cannot be open to elementals all the time.
Right.
Because you have your function to do. And elementals do understand. But elementals that inhabit an area for recreation and relaxation, for example, this area here,
Right.
although they do not understand that you are only here visiting for a few little bits of their time, they are always aware and able to communicate with other elementals. You may not be a stranger to them, because the elementals at your place of residence may have foretold that you would be coming here to them.
I see. So in other words, don't try to put limits upon those things which cannot be limited.
Correct. All around, there is no limit to what goes on around you. How many things can you see happening around you?
There's erosion. There's burning of wood. Things are growing. Things are dying. Things are living.
The water is lapping against the shores of
The lake here.
the lake here. The wind is blowing.
Mhm.
There are individual branches moving and rubbing. There is animals moving all around you. There is the air moving all around you.
True.
There is the rotation of your planet. There are people talking. There are people drinking. There are many things going on all around you.
All
But you-
these things are connected.
Correct.
So we are in our place.
Correct.
I see. Okay, so find the balance.
The balance to harmony.
So basically what we're trying to do is complete a circle.
No.
No?
You are trying to follow a path that is being laid out for you, that has set you on the road that you must follow for the rest of your life.
True.
A circle suggests repetition,
Right.
going nowhere.
Oh, but this is going somewhere.
Correct.
Okay. So now, sometimes when we hear things that sound very natural, it might not be so.
Correct.
Like those frogs in the background.
Correct.
It sounds like frogs having a great time. It could be also a way of greeting.
Yes, and it could also be a warning, telling the frogs to stay away from this area because there is fire and strange beings.
Ah, I see.
Also, it could be telling other animals that there is trouble.
Now, so in other words, whereby I see other animals as being separate from each other, except for their own kind, that isn't the case.
That is correct.
Each animal has communication with all other animals around.
In a very limited sort of way, in the way that it can read body language. The way that you can tell when somebody who speaks a strange language is angry. You do not know what they are saying,
Right.
and they may not raise their voice, but you can tell when they are angry.
Sure, because of the tone
Correct.
and the emotions that are being given off.
Correct. When you learn the tone of the animals, the tone of the wind, the tone and rhythm of life, all life, then you are on the way to advancement of a higher level of existence.
I see. So it's school.
School is all around you.
This is the classroom.
Yes. No, this is not the classroom. Life is the classroom.
True.
Do you have any more questions? Is there anyone else you wish to talk to?
Well, I'm gonna go up to see my baby here in a little while. So
Okay.
I'll talk to her again in person. But that's pretty much it.
Okay.
It'll be a channel to get back and get to sleep.
Okay, have an enjoyable evening.
Okay, thank you.
Take care of yourself.
I will, Korton, and I think you've given me some good clues on where to go from here.
Yeah, where to go from here is up to you.
At least now I got a roadmap to follow.
Yes, a roadmap for many places. We shall discuss this more maybe at the next session.
I agree. Well, I'll have plenty of input by then.
Okay? Write down your notes and your thoughts. You also may be extremely surprised.
Okay. I look forward to it. Thank you.
Oh. Hello, what happened to your mattress?
There's a hole in it.
So big hole.
Well, that was a very interesting session.
What did I miss?
There was a few good parts, but there was really great parts.
There were some good parts, and then there was a really great part. That sounds like usual.
Sure. And Earth's future.
Ah.
And at present, it has not been decided yet on whether lives shall continue in its current form.
That's charming.
Or whether a few selected people will be chosen out to continue our form somewhere else.
That sounds quite ominous, actually. Russ? What's that? That moving object. Is that a plane? Oh, what did he do? Show off or something? Buzz by?
Omal never walked down here, right?
Oh, Omal was mobile?
Yeah, we were down there, down to his side, right? He's looking up and there he was too, man. His little spot going, whoa! This little star moving at high speed.
Was he casual about it?
Oh yeah, totally casual. Oh, there's tall. Like, what? Where? Oh yeah. Wow. I'm all stuck. He's like, oh, just let it walk in the woods.
I think that's where your hole is, people first.
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. No, it happened in my tent.
Yeah. There it is.
What, found it?
Yeah.
Oh shit. That's a hole.
That's a big hole. Oh well. I suppose I should have bought some Jeff's waterproof tape.
Nothing.
Okay, so you and Korton had a discussion.
Oh, major discussion.
You actually let me discuss instead of his dissertation.
Well, as I explained it to him, is that, now I've got an idea of where we're going to go with this. And basically, we'll just continue on, but now we've got kind of a roadmap. What I'm working with now, nature spirits and everything, is probably one of the most key things that we can work on right now.
Yeah.
Just due to the fact that our regaining that balance could be the difference between us maintaining our status as a viable race.
I thought I'd lost my crystal.
They're both there.
Right, we have one from my tent, the far-sighted one.
Oh.
But my far-sighted crystal, I thought, shit, I lost it. Because it wasn't in my hands. For some reason, I
Might go to the tape on. Oh, that's right. On the branch below.
No, there it is.